Hello there, and welcome to Real Talk with Angry Soccer Mom. This week's discussion topics include anything you feel is newsworthy about racism, bigotry, and inequality, and all the horrible stuff in America that's going on. And that pretty much includes everything. So please don't be shy. Jump on in and tell me what you think, because that's what this show's about. The show is meant to also be an opportunity for viewers to speak their mind, but to also serve as an educational tool for white folks to learn about systemic racism in America and our real racial history. So please invite a friend. And I know it's kind of a special, night before Thanksgiving for a lot of people. So I wanted to have you invite somebody if you are here. I wanted to start off with my sob story. My sob story is that I'm locked out of all my groups on Facebook because they're evil. No, I'm just kidding. I am pretty much locked out of sharing anything on Facebook. So if you haven't seen me around on there, it's because I can't be on there. Kind of sad. And so I'm looking for other platforms that will accept my information. But I'm definitely on YouTube. I put 3 new videos up just in the last day or two. I wanted to tell people that, let me see, we're going to start a Tuesday night panel discussion for people to come on and talk very specifically about certain topics that have to do with racism, bigotry, and inequality. I just want people who are living it as we speak to be able to voice their take on a number of issues. And I'm going to send sign-ups out in December for people who want to join. And you don't have to have a PhD, but you could. But you do have to have a PhD in experience, and that's all that's necessary. So hopefully people will be interested in that. It might be a slow night tonight here because tomorrow is Thanksgiving. But the topics that I have to discuss today are Trump's insanity continuing, of course. It's kind of a topic every day. The second one is there's 2 silver linings to these hearings, and I want to make sure you've heard them because they're really, really something that gave me a lot of hope personally. So I hope they do to you as well. I found Amber Says What clip from Seth Meyers that is so simple, it is almost amazing, that I wanted to play for you guys and see what you think. So while you're thinking of what you want to talk about and calling all your friends to get over here, I will start my little rant, which is kind of timely, I think, because it's the holidays. The holiday seasons are coming. So, and this rant is kind of tongue-in-cheek, but I mean, I think it points out the lunacy of some of the things that a lot of people are making a big deal of. I think people are forgetting what matters in life. We're only here on this planet for such a short amount of time. Together, happen to meet, happen to be talking to. I mean, think of the chance of me talking to you if you're listening. Life's too short for this. We got to be good to our fellow humans. So it's kind of a serious rant and kind of passionate, but it's a mix. All right, I will stop and just start. This holiday season, it's been a little more than stress. I don't know, it just feels more stressful than most. And I'm sure, part of it is because everything's going on with our government and it's instability. It's scary and a lot of bad things are happening. Maybe it's the liar-in-chief in the White House. Maybe it's the impeachment hearings. Maybe it's, I don't know, people just struggling to pay their bills and the huge divide that separate the wealthiest Americans and everyone else. I don't know. I know just struggling to pay bills and put food on the table is kind of all-consuming. Our nation's paralyzed, polarized, I think, in the divide, and most of us have kind of given up, even trying to convince people who have opposing views. It's like the people who don't want to be humane and they don't care. That is, they don't want to listen. And I'm sure they feel that way about what they'll call the liberal people. Again, I don't want to get into it because I don't think there's anything to debate. It's not about politics for me. It's about being human. You don't take away the rights of your fellow humans. You don't vote for someone who does that. You don't vote for someone who's cruel to your fellow humans. This is just kind of like basic stuff. So to me, it's not about politics. It's never been about politics. But it's gone on too long. We're in really scary times, like I need to tell you. So what we end up doing is, steering away from politics. And, I'll do the same thing. I don't purposely do it, but out of respect for Linda. Hello. Yay. Let me just see. Whoop. Ah, Timmy. Hello. I wasn't even watching. Welcome, Timmy and Linda. I know it's kind of a tough night to do a live show, but I wanted to do it anyway. I'm happy you're here. And jump on in whenever you want. But, so, I'll do the same thing. I'll steer away. I'll play, play nice and all that, because the people I'm going to be talking to, they pretty much, they won't listen. They don't care. Linda says, politics sucks. It's, as I scooch over, it's almost there. It's an industry, not government. Oh my gosh, so true. So sad, but true. Thank you for that. Yeah, we have turned into a money-making machine. It's a lifestyle, and that's not how it's supposed to be. But anyway, I've started here, already. It's not even Thanksgiving yet. And I started to hear people, the same old Christmas farce, claiming Christmas has been stolen. We're not allowed to say Merry Christmas anymore. I'm already hearing that, and if it weren't the truth, in the sense that people are really saying this, I'd be laughing my ass off, because it's absolutely ludicrous. It's the same thing every year. I've overheard this in the past, and I'm overhearing it now. Linda definitely greed makes the world go round, and we're forgetting it was just supposed to be an economic thing, not like a lifestyle. I say what I want at Christmas, Linda. Yeah, I say what I always say what I want. You know that by now, right? But so people are now being shamed for saying Merry Christmas? I'm sorry. That is just another distraction. That is absolutely ludicrous. I think it's making a problem out of something that's not a problem. I want to know where this mass shaming is taking place, and I've never heard of it, and I've never really known anyone who's brought it up to me that this is happening. You know what? It's because I don't think it is happening. I think it's just called propaganda. Propaganda. We just don't like to use that word, but we have it here. If, equally, if not more than other countries that we claim to be, dictatorships and whatnot, and run by the government. We just don't like to call it propaganda, but that's really what it is. It's also known as complete bullshit. It's when people decide what they want you to think, and they put it out there on the media everywhere they can, and they get you to think it. And it's kind of scary. But here's the problem. The reason I call it BS is because no one stole anything from anybody. No one stole anything from you. No one stole anything from me. Here's the problem, and I hate to say it, but you know me, I'm going to say it. When people say happy holidays, they are simply acknowledging that everyone in the entire freaking world is not Christian. Okay? It's kind of like the same thing with white folks who are very offended over the slogan Black Lives Matter, because the attention is not directed at them. They believe it should be all lives matter. And the problem with that is, despite the fact, see, here's the thing. It's not all lives matter, because right now we're focusing on Black lives mattering. Because all lives are not having their precious family gunned down in the streets in incredibly terrifying, disproportionate numbers by our own police, by our own government. But let's not get into that. The reality is that we share the planet with others. Other people exist on our planet other than us. And a lot of people who aren't celebrating these Christian holidays, their holidays happen to be at similar times to the ones we're or you or are celebrating. So thinking about our fellow humans is not taking anything away from you. Acknowledging the existence of other humans, that they exist, is not oppression. It is not marginalization. And the problem is this: when people feel so entitled, when entitled people feel they're asked to recognize that other people exist, apparently it feels like oppression to them. And that's the only way I can explain it. I want to know what you think. But rest assured, it's not oppression. So after you're done discussing the real history of Thanksgiving tomorrow, which I know everybody's going to do. Hi, Mr. F.S. Black. Everyone will be doing, at the dinner table right there, or right after Grace or whatever, explaining what really went down in our nation. Why not give everybody a break? Break the tension and discuss this topic. I'm just kidding. I'm just playing around. But grab some dessert first, because you'll probably need to run out the door. I'm just kidding. I won't be doing it, so I'm just joking around. But anyway, Christmas isn't taken from anybody. It feels like oppression when people who are entitled and in power and used to having it all about them actually have to give a shit about other people. And if being kind to your fellow humans is oppression, then I guess we need to be oppressed. That's all I can say. I am done with the BS. All right, let me take some comments and then we'll go into some of the content we have. Linda, propaganda is our mainstream news and all the time, and I thought it was facts. Bah ha 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 ha. Unfortunately, media journalism wouldn't know a fact if it hit him in the mouth. I think that's true. I hate to say it. I think you might be right. We are owned by a ton of the same people and conglomerates, and they are told what to say and when to say it and how to say it. So I'm happy you're here, Mr. F.S. Black. This might be a small crowd tonight, so feel free to jump in and say what you want to say. So today, let me just see where I'm at. I scrolled way past my spot. So that was my rant, and I'm sticking to it. There's always a lot to talk about, so feel free to bring up whatever you want. I was going to start with Trump insanity, for lack of a better way to put it. I think he's losing it, and that it's dangerous, and I just hope to hell that people are, whoever's around him are keeping their eye on him. It's terrifying. Linda, Monty Python and Holy Grail, snicker, oppression scene. Sorry, my mind is working on a child's level today. It's okay. You'll entertain us. Mr. F.S. Black, the privileged have had the luxury of crying victim, but those who are actually victimized don't. Mr. F.S. Black, thank you so much for that. 100% agree. The people who are in numerical majorities in this country have no freaking clue what oppression and marginalization really is. Not all of them, but most of them. And it is unconscionable that we complain, we moan, and we are hurt because, God forbid, we have to think of someone else's feelings other than our own. 100%. I know that's not you're saying. I'm saying that. You can't say no one's stopping anyone from saying Merry Christmas. That's ludicrous. It's just a diversion. Just a diversion. Linda, well said. Victim mode is used in a lot to avoid being accountable for our actions. Oh my gosh, Linda, you need to come on this show. You said it perfectly. You and Mr. F.S. Black. Exactly. It's just stop already. I don't get it. I saw today a video on a whole bunch of really famous people who are politicians and otherwise talking about how Trump's God. I'm sorry. That's terrifying. Hello, that's terrifying. That's really, really scary. Anyway, so Trump's insanity. As each day passes, you will probably have noticed especially during the hearings, the impeachment hearings. It seems we're getting more and more scoop that's very damning to Trump. And we're getting more every day. In fact, yesterday, the Times brought out a report. Apparently, Trump was briefed on the whistleblower complaints against him weeks ago, weeks before the public knew, and weeks before he decided to release military aid to the Ukraine. So, he acts all shocked, and he's completely full of it. The newspaper said today, he knew, and he kept with it. I mean, that kind of says it all. I think it's very damning for him. He continued. He is arrogant, and apparently this is quite illegal. The Republicans have always claimed this no quid pro quo, and they keep saying that, but there doesn't have to be one. And the people in Ukraine don't have to think there isn't one. It's not an opinion. This isn't an opinion thing. This is this is like a kind of a law thing, not an opinion of what they think. So I just don't. It's our Constitution. It's you can't do certain things in our Constitution. So the whole thing's, their claims have been flimsier, and they change every day or every 2 days. So apparently, just to read the facts from the paper, Trump didn't release the money until September 11th, 2 days after the House Democrats launched a public investigation into the matter, and only 1 day before the House voted to begin what would turn into an impeachment inquiry. So what this essentially means, and I'm sure most of you already know this, is that Trump kept pushing to extort the Ukraine, even after he knew people within his administration were raising alarms and very concerned. So it's not good. And part of my biggest concern, and I want to know what you think, is I don't think it'll matter for public opinion, for these politicians to, follow their public opinion, because, as I said many times before, he had him at racist. The minute this type of constituents thought, God, he gets it. He's racist. It didn't matter what else happened, because they've excused unconscionable things. I don't know what else to think. That he had him at racist. That's all they had to know. And yeah, that's a jaded opinion. It's maybe not very nice, but based on the discrimination and disgustingly inhumane laws that have been allowed to even be presented, let alone passed, it's just my take. So Trump thinks he's above the law, and if you've been following the impeachment hearings, you know that things are getting worse and worse and worse. And some of the stuff that's come out of the Republican politicians' mouths are like shocking, like literally bold-faced lies. I don't believe they believe that. And that's pretty arrogant of me, but I'm watching them in the hearings going, there's no way that they believe what they're saying. So the only thing I can say is, Linda, I always want to say, if you would get rid of all the career politicians and the new ones too, start from scratch with folks that really represent us folks and who something, I'm waiting for your next comment. Part of the problem is live and experience real life. Yeah, and that's definitely a point. A lot of people think that the length of time is a huge problem that people are in. Like, for example, and I don't advocate for this, I'm just saying, for example, if everyone was out in like a year or two, their last year, then they'd be honest. I mean, I don't get it. We're losing our morality, our humanism, I don't know what to call it, but it's not pretty, and I want to talk about it. So, the DC crazies live in some other, I don't get it. I just don't get it. And I don't put them all in one group either. And I know, not saying you do, but I don't. Because I truly believe there are still some, not as many as you'd hope for, people out there who really are there to serve the public. And that's why I hate politics. Because the whole word politics means you're kind of having one over on somebody or something like that. So, I don't know. Just my take. But, so I honestly don't believe these guys. The only thing that I can say is that these politicians are very terrified of Trump because they are selling their souls. What do you guys think? I mean, soul to the high. I mean, they sold their souls for the chance of power, wealth, and prestige, I guess. Linda says, me either, I'm sure, but I don't see it at the upper level. Yeah, it's really scary. I think they're afraid that Trump's going to destroy them in the 2020 election for Republican primaries by supporting another Republican candidate. And you know he'll do that. He's a mobster. He works like a mobster, and he'll do what it takes. The Republicans are defending like 23 seats, I think, or something like that. So they just can't possibly believe the lies. I just can't. I don't believe they believe it. Again, all about the dollar on either side. Yeah, and it does seem to be we've forgotten our ways. So tonight I'm going to talk a little bit about some stuff that is actually nice. Not all of it. So don't get too happy about that, but I'm going to talk about some stuff that made me happy personally, and I hope it makes you happy too. There was some silver linings for me, and let me tell you, they were hard to find, don't get me wrong, but if there were any silver linings to these hearings, it was some of the speeches that were made by Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman. His testimony, part of it blew me away. And Ambassador Yovanovitch. Michael says, I think everyone should watch It's a Wonderful Life and mention what we're thankful for. And actually, that's what I'm gonna do tomorrow night. Thank you, Michael. And so, on that note, what I'm gonna be doing is I wanted to play the testimonies from those two, not their testimonies, but it's kind of their opening speeches, because I have never felt prouder to be an American, knowing that people like this are out there. I mean, you guys, I was almost in tears listening to, just listen, I want to know what you think, okay? I call it what it is, but I love our country, and I know we can do better than this. We have to do better than this. Okay, so I'm going to play a couple of those, and let me get situated here. This is 3 minutes of Lieutenant Colonel Vindman's. The first few minutes is, you might not catch quite on because he's in the middle of something, but you'll know what I'm talking about. So let me get this going and swap me out. Swap me out. Oops. Swap me back. I'm still learning. It's not pretty. Losing my mind here. Can't find it. Ah. Okay. Doop. Ah, there I am again. Breaking all the rules. And here he is.
We fully anticipated the Ukrainians would raise the issue of a meeting between the presidents. Ambassador Bolton cut the meeting short when Ambassador Sondland started to speak about the requirement that Ukraine deliver specific investigations in order to secure the meeting with President Trump. I want to take a moment to recognize the courage of my colleagues who have appeared and are scheduled to appear before this committee. I want to state that the character attacks on these distinguished and honorable public servants is reprehensible. It is natural to disagree and engage in spirited debate, and this has been the custom of our country since the time of our founding fathers. But we are better than personal attacks. The uniform I wear today is that of the United States Army. The members of our all-volunteer force are made up of a patchwork of people from all ethnicities, regions, socioeconomic backgrounds who come together under a common oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States of America. We do not serve any political party, we serve the nation. I am humbled to come before you today as one of many who serve in the most distinguished and able military in the world. The Army is the only profession I've ever known. As a young man, I decided I wanted to spend my life serving this nation and gave my family refuge from authoritarian oppression. For the last 20 years, it has been an honor to represent and protect this great country. Next month will mark 40 years since my family arrived in the United States as refugees. When my father was 47 years old, He left behind his entire life and the only home he had ever known to start over in the United States so his 3 sons could have a better and safer lives. His courageous decision inspired a deep sense of gratitude in my brothers and myself and instilled in us a sense of duty and service. All 3 of us have served or are currently serving in the military. My little brother's behind me here today. Our collective military service is a special part of our family's history and a story in America. I also recognize that my simple act of appearing here today, just like the courage of my colleagues who have also truthfully testified before this committee, would not be tolerated in many places around the world. In Russia, my act of expressing concern to the chain of command in an official and private channel would have severe personal and professional repercussions, and offering public testimony involving the president would surely cost me my life. I'm grateful to for my father's brave act of hope 40 years ago, and for the privilege of being an American citizen and public servant, where I can live free of fear for mine and my family's safety. Dad, I'm sitting here today in the U.S. Capitol talking to our elected professionals is proof that you made the right decision 40 years ago to leave the Soviet Union, come here to the United States of America in search of a better life for our family. Do not worry, I will be fine for telling the truth. Thank you again for your consideration. I will be happy to answer your questions.
Okay. So I will come back. Yeah, so I don't know, what do you guys think?
You know, we don't always have enough time to cover everything in the recent news. So here we
Sorry about that. I'm not sure how that happened. But we'll go back to us. What did you guys think? I just thought it was really, really amazing to have somebody like that speak like that from the heart. He looked really nervous. Did you guys see that already? Or that was part of his, what he did? And the other one was just a little video I threw together. I was very emotional during it, so please tell me what you think, and we'll go from there. So this is the next one. Let me see. Okay, silly, silly me. You're gonna laugh. Okay. I just finished watching the impeachment hearings that are televised now, and I saw Ambassador Ivanovich, who was former ambassador to the Ukraine, do her testimony all day long, and all I can say is that woman made me proud, so proud to be an American. She was just listening to her life and what she wanted to do to become an ambassador. She went to school for years and learned different languages, and she cared so much. It's just amazing. I never knew she went from country to country, some very unstable countries. She was literally in gunfire, where she could have been killed at so many different places, and she had a 30-year career of exemplary service. I never really knew what ambassadors did even, and after listening to her unwaveringly honest testimony, I have never been so proud to be an American. They couldn't find one thing. The Republicans made up absolute, blatant, bold-faced lies about her, and she took it and just answered. She wasn't emotional. She was forthright and candid and honest, and oh my God, they had nothing. She just wanted to know why they could have just, a president has the right to dismiss an ambassador for any reason. And he could have she wanted to know, why didn't they just dismiss her? Why did they make up lies? Why did they make up lies to smear her 30-year exemplary reputation? She just wanted answers to how they could do that to her. She just seemed devastated, yet so kept it together. I don't think I could have done that. But watching those hours of testimony today, I know this might just be goofy, but
it made me so freaking proud to be an American and to know we have people like her out there representing us in such an upstanding way. I just thought you guys should know. Thanks for listening. I just finished watching.
Hopefully. Let's get rid of that. Boop. Hopefully people heard some of that. Uh-oh. Looks like I might be offline. I'm not sure. Ah! Let me see here. Zoop. I love the place I live. I just can't stand the people in charge of it. Yeah. And that is part of it for me as well. I love our country. I know we got to be better than this. We got to be better than this. And I think part of it is the people getting back into knowing what's really going on. So what did you guys think? Were those moving? I thought they were. Not my speech, but I was moved by her, Ambassador Yovanovitch's speech, and I just broke into an immediate rant. But we should and we can do better, Linda. Thanks. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. It's like we're a work in progress. Our Constitution's made to bend with the people. So we need to get the people knowing what's going on so that we can take our nation and our Constitution and bring it to its potential, at least be headed in the right direction, I guess you could say. I think that would be really cool. So I didn't really plan to talk a lot tonight because it's the day before, a big holiday, and I wasn't sure if there'd be too many people around. But I wanted to, another thing, I said I was going to kind of make it some things that I'm thankful for. I was blown away by Lieutenant Colonel Vindman's test, just his everything. I was blown away by their life. I got to hear more than I've ever known about that. And Ambassador Yovanovitch, oh my God, you listen to her life story and it's like never been prouder of people like this who are truly there to do good. And what records they have. I mean, I looked up all their stuff. They have honors for this, honors for that. I mean, these people sound like they're the best of the best. And that's something to be really proud of. So, the other thing I wanted to bring up tonight, obviously I want anyone listening or watching to tell me what they think. And there's been so much going on in the news, as always. So if you have anything you want to talk about, jump on in. But something happened, actually it was last week. And this made me really, really proud. Again, proud to be an American. Representative Omar asked for restorative justice for the man who threatened her life. And I'm not sure if everyone's familiar with restorative justice. I'm not totally familiar with it, but I've read, a bunch of articles on it. It coincides with what I believe is right in life, not religiously, but humanely. From what I've studied as a younger person in college and graduate school, punishment turns to revenge very, very swiftly. It's just how we're made. As children, the younger children are, the more it's the case. And this is just from studies on punishment, because that's something, human behavior's been studied for a while, so we have some information on it. And what we do with the mass incarceration and the entire system is the system is antiquated. It's not even, hi Tony, thanks for being here. It's not even following like best practices, not even close. In fact, I might go as far to say a lot of the stuff's following worst practices, in my opinion. I don't know what worst are. I'm sure they could be worse, but we're not doing it right. If we were a company, a corporation, which kind of well, you know what? A money-making corporation, I guess would be, see, I'm just not looking at it that way. Let me take that back. As a money-making corporation only, the United States is probably doing pretty well. I really haven't looked into it, but that is unconscionable. And I don't think capitalism is supposed to be a lifestyle, maybe an economic type policy, but not a lifestyle. And that's kind of what we're into, and it's disgusting. But anyway, enough of my opinion on how we should handle our fellow human beings who are the most vulnerable, and that includes people who are put into custody, imprisoned. Yes, they are along with the most vulnerable people, because as you know, look what's been happening. I mean, need I say more? Probably not, but I will. Okay, so this is the letter I wanted to read before we close tonight. In a nation whose culture just seems to be headed in the really wrong direction. All about money and shuff. Thank you. That's very sweet of you. You're embarrassing me. So I wanted to read Omar's, no matter what you think, no matter what you think of her personally, I was blown away by this woman's humble, she's been threatened. Her life's been threatened in a very real and terrifying way. So below is the letter, and I'm going to read it to you. It's to the Honorable Judge Garachi. I think I'm saying that right. And this is what she wrote, and it's pretty darn cool. A man who threatened her life was being sentenced. As you deliberate the sentence of Patrick Carlinio Jr., a man convicted of threatening my life, I write to you to ask for a system of compassion to be applied in his sentencing. And that just, she's a young woman representative, and she is writing, let me make this clear, to the judge that is going to sentence this man who threatened her life. And it was real. Guy's in jail. There's no doubt that Mr. Carlinio's crime is grave. Threatening assassination of a public official in our country is dangerous to both individual and our republic. Our fragile democratic system rests on the peaceful elections of those in power. As someone who fled a war zone, I know how destabilizing acts of political violence can be. That his threat of violence relied on hateful stereotyping about my faith only makes it more dangerous. This was not just a threat against me as an individual, it was a threat against an entire religion, at a time of rising hate crimes against religious minorities in our country. But we must ask, who are we as a nation if we respond to the threat of political retribution with retribution ourselves? And that takes a very, very, for lack of a better word, big person to say. The answer to hate is not more hate. It is compassion. Punishing the defendant with a lengthy prison sentence or a burdensome financial fine would not rehabilitate him. It would not repair the harm he has caused. It would only increase his anger and resentment. And this is, I'm reading her letter directly. A punitive approach to the criminal justice system will not stop criminals like Mr. Carlinio from committing a crime again or prevent, hey Pat, or prevent others from committing similar acts. And I truly believe she's right. Only restorative justice can do that. He should understand, obviously, the consequences of his actions and be given the opportunity to make amends and seek redemption. And, we all don't have to agree with every word she's saying. Obviously, some people are like, punish him. And I personally don't hate me for it. And yes, if somebody killed somebody I loved, I would not be in a good position to say, spare him. I would not be in a good position to say, but that's the cool thing about America. We don't make our laws based on, or at least we're not supposed to make our laws based on extreme emotion. We're supposed to be human and make it on logic and humanism and what is right for a good society, a humane society. She goes on to say, if we truly want to prevent crimes like Mr. Carlenio's, we must address the root causes of these crimes. The desire to commit violence is not inherent in people. People who are threatened or commit violence are often themselves the victims of systemic alienation and neglect. They seek violence because they are taught violence. We must address this systemic alienation through the community reintegration and social services. And this to me is what I'm thankful for during Thanksgiving. I don't really celebrate traditionally, but I do take time to give thanks. She went on to say, and remember, this is a woman who is a young representative who's had her life threatened in very real ways. Threats of political violence and hate speech are not unique to Mr. Carlenio. They are an increasing feature in our public sphere. We will not defeat it with anger and exclusion. We will defeat it with compassion. And I don't know all of her policies. I probably won't agree with everything she does, but this I agree with 1,000%. As Nelson Mandela said, people must learn to hate. And if they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love. And Jane Elliott also has a few words on that as well. If you can learn racism and hate, you can unlearn it. And that is why I personally want to spend the rest of my life educating people on a real racial history and on the truth. The truth doesn't change because it makes you uncomfortable. It doesn't. It's still the truth. So she went on to say, she wrote a long letter, we must teach the defendant love. And for this reason, I do not believe the defendant would be served by a severe prison sentence or substantial financial fine and ask you to show compassion in your sentencing. Thank you for your careful consideration. Ilan Omar, Member of Congress. And for me, that was something I wanted to share with you guys tonight because I think it's a beautiful thing. Laws cannot be made on how much money people will get. Laws cannot be made on cruelty. I mean, they can, but look where it's gotten us. I truly believe with all my heart that compassion and humanism is the only way we are ever going to get where we want to be. And I know that is so hard to handle because some people are so hurt. And, people say, easy for you to say. And you know what it is? Because I've never had someone viciously murdered that I love. But I've had lots of people that I care deeply for, my fellow humans. And I can see a pattern. I'm kind of old. Punishment, revenge, and just cruel inhumanity. It's not cutting it. Going for all the money and not caring about humans. Corporations as people? You gotta be kidding me. So I think we need to make our nation meet its potential. We need to put some humanism back into our culture. And change is scary and thinking hurts, but I think it's the only way. So I want to read a couple comments and then I will say good night to everybody. If there's any topics you want to bring up before I stop yakking away, please do. But otherwise, I hope that a lot of you have time to be with your families, whether you celebrate this holiday or not and how you celebrate it. Find something good to be thankful for. And I appreciate all your support. I'm going to read a couple things. Tony, I still believe in humanity even though we're going backwards. Tony, me too. And thank you for that. I didn't think we'd ever go backwards in my lifetime. I guess that's arrogance or, a lack of historical perspective, but we are. And now it's time for us to swing the pendulum the other way and educate people. I know a lot of people don't believe this, but from the years I've spent helping to educate white folks who are self-proclaimed racists, I mean, really, they can change. It's a steep, learning curve. They absolutely. I have seen miracles. I've seen miracles. So having that little bit of hope, I think for me, hope's the strongest emotion, and I won't let it go because I believe in my fellow humans. We can be better than this. We just gotta, it's not gonna come from top down. It's gonna be grassroots and educationally speaking, bottom up. It's like, I hate to bring up Dr. Seuss because he might not be the exact person I want to talk about right now, but his book, we're at our town's darkest hour. I think for our democratic republic, it's time for all Americans who care about our nation, and I don't care what you label yourself, to speak up and start speaking the truth and talking. Because I think Trump wants to be king. Let me see. Pat, well, I hope all is good with you, Kim, but most white people don't believe that there's a problem with racism in this country. Yep, that is absolutely correct. And part of the thing is, I'm only one person, but I know there's got to be other people, doing this kind of thing, and it's really scary to believe that. And the fact is, people can learn. Racism it's taught, and it can be untaught. And the fact that 50% of all, Caucasian, I guess you could say, adults in America think we're in a post-racial era, I don't buy it. Not that I don't buy the study. I buy the study. I think they're full of shit. I don't think they think that. Sorry. All you have to do to out somebody is say, how would you like to be treated the way we treat black people in America today? Ching, ching, button pushing. Of course they don't. So they do know. So I'm not buying it. Not for 1 minute. But I appreciate, Pat, I get it. I don't blame you one bit. Tony, hope is all we have. Sadly, maybe the next generation will make a change. I hope so. And Linda says, right on, Pat. And Mary says, I don't, Tony. Mary, Pat, the new racism is to pretend racism. Let me see, Pat, with the new racism is to pretend racism exists. I think you mean the opposite, but maybe I'm not reading that right. Not sure, but let me know. I'm going to go back to Linda because I skipped Linda. So sorry. Oh, okay, I'm going back. Oh my gosh, I did skip you. I'm so sorry. Linda, you could go on all day, an all-day rant about our justice system. I love the Innocence Project. I do too. I really do. I hope everyone's familiar with the Innocence Project. If you're not, give me a, PM me and I'll get you into their stuff. Unfortunately, corruption runs rampant at all levels of our justice system. And we got to be better than this, guys. I believe in us. We can be better than this. We don't rest on our laurels. We have this incredible Constitution. And it has the ability to morph and change over time, and that was purposeful. So, and Mary, I want to clarify what you were saying to Pat. Oh, pretend it doesn't exist. Okay, gotcha. Thanks for clarifying. I know it's so hard to type and all that stuff, but I'm not going to talk much longer tonight. I just wanted to thank everybody for being here and for supporting what I'm trying to do, which is simply make a forum that everybody can talk on and discuss this in a very multicultural, heterogeneous setting. Because until white America learns to get comfortable with and talk about racism, it's going to be a real tough battle. Because right now we're the majority, and if we put our heads in the sand and our feelings are too cute and tender to handle it, we are screwing over our fellow humans. Because right now we don't have equity. And if somebody says we do, ask them how they'd like to be treated like we treat black people in America. And that's all you gotta ask. Because they will not, that's all you gotta ask. Mary, I feel like we have to get to the root of the problem, which is our values, what we truly believe in versus what we pretend to believe in. Absolutely. Mary, I don't know if you've seen any of my other videos, but we are so full of it in this country. And I don't mean it, we meaning me, everybody. Oh, Ronald, you're so sweet. We're just wrapping up, but I'm happy you're here. I appreciate it so much. Hello. Mary's just saying, you know, we live a lie. White America, for not everybody, but it's a system. I'm not talking about individuals. I'm talking about a system. And we live a lie. We don't know our own racial history. We don't understand redlining. We don't know we had sundown towns all over the place. We don't understand the origins of the police. We don't know about horrific events that were covered up and kept out of history, like Black Wall Street. We don't really get what segregation really was. If you ever read the Cornerstone speech, one of my videos is actually some guy read the entire thing. It might get you close to understanding the depth of white supremacy and pure hatred and cruelty and barbaric. Just, that's all I can say. I mean, I think right now we're living a lie. And sure, Trump's, you know, got a few people more open about it, but he did get elected. We elected him. And even if you didn't vote for him, our culture elected him. So, Mary, I absolutely agree. Racism, she says, racism is like the Matrix. It starts before we were born. Yeah, we were, and this is what I always say, and it's probably getting kind of boring for people to hear me blab about this, but here's the thing, and it's a terrible analogy, but it's the best I could do. Would you walk by, yeah, Linda, you're fine. Would you walk by someone who was slowly drowning in a swimming pool because you didn't shove them in? Of course not. Would you walk by them because you didn't build the pool? No. Then why do we pretend that we all have equity in America and that there's, you know, liberty and justice for all has to mean something, okay? And we have this Constitution that has potential, incredible genius potential. But we're not doing it. And it is, I think it is our culture. We have lost our way. Capitalism unchecked. And it's time for the people to take it back. All the people, not the white people, not the wealthy only, all the people. So that's kind of my spiel. And I'm going to wrap it up tonight very early. I'll take Pat, I refuse to see that movie. Oh, yeah, this is tough stuff, but I wanted to thank everybody for their support in being here. And I know it's a long shot to hope that I can make a difference. I know that. I'm crazy, but I'm not that crazy. But I'm going to keep going, and I'm making videos, getting information out. I do commentary rants that are kind of cuckoo. I do educational stuff. I was a teacher for a long time, special education teacher, which kind of fits, you know. I love working with folks who want to learn but don't know where to start, helping them understand how to empathize and understand the plight of people who aren't them, basically. So, no, I'm not. I'm agnostic. Mary asks, are you a Christian? Nope. I'm not. Nails and Glitter, hello. I'm just wrapping it up tonight, but I'm so happy you're here. I'm not religious in any way. I never have been. I just feel really strongly that we can, oh, Nails and Glitter, I'm just happy you're here. I really am. I just feel strongly, and always have, that it is our responsibility to make our culture what we want it to be. And I think we're better than this. I refuse to believe that the systemic racism and the bigotry and the hatred towards people in the LGBTQ community, it's all, we just got to stop it. So, and I know, you know, a lot of people laugh and say, oh, ha, ha, she thinks she's going to make a difference. But you know what? I'm not doing this to be a savior. I'm not doing this to be a leader. I'm doing this for me, because I cannot sit and watch. I just can't. I can't sit and watch and do nothing while my fellow humans are cruel to my other fellow humans. I won't do it. That's just not how, I can't handle that. So anyway, enough about me yakking about my philosophy. Thank you so much for being here. If you believe like I do that it's way past time for white America to educate ourselves about our own real racial history so we can educate other people so that we can help and support real equity for everybody, please watch my videos, share them like crazy, go onto my YouTube channel, tell me what you think. And don't be shy. You can tell me, I can't stand this. I'm not, you should see the hate mail I get. Oh my God, it's like out of control. So there's nothing you can really say that would be, it's crazy. So anyway, good night, everyone. Linda, you are awesome for being here. Mary, I'm thrilled to have you. And Linda and Mary and Nails and Glitter. And let me name everybody. Tony, thank you so much for being here. And Pat, I'm not sure if you're still here. And Ronald. And this was absolutely awesome. I'm looking for everybody. It was a small crowd tonight, but, oh, Mr. FS Black. And I'm going to keep scrolling because, of course, I'll skip somebody. But thank you so, so much for being here. And just Timmy, if you're still here. So, and anyone else who hasn't written in, don't be shy. This is what this is for. All right. Good night, everybody. So thanks for all your support. And if you do celebrate Thanksgiving in any way, shape, or form, I hope you enjoy it and have a really nice break from everything. Good night. Thanks for being here. And I really have no clue how to turn this off.